back to stuffing our sock creature. So now that I have his legs done, all you need to do now for the body part is to go ahead and stuff it. And I'm just taking regular pillow stuffing. You can use the type that you want. It's up to you. I like this type the best. It's very fuzzy, and it is polyester fiber. Now you can get feathers and stuff like that. Feathers don't really work that well. It's not real easy to stuff with feathers. And then another problem is, you know, the feather ends, the quill actually ends up sticking you. There's also foam, but foam just tends to get everywhere. This is just so much easier to stuff, so I'm just grabbing some. I just grabbed a big wad, and then it's so easy to stick it in this smaller hole because it's squishy, and it pretty much stays together. So I'm just pushing it in with my thumb, like putting a bunch right there, and then just pushing in. Now, try to go ahead and stuff a lot in there. I mean, you don't want it to be very light. I've had students stuff it to where there's like little places where it needs stuffing, and it's just too limp. You need to stuff it to where, basically like it's a sausage, like it's completely full. So if you need to, just push it up there into the head. I'm going to grab some more stuffing. Grabbed a little bit too much. There we go. Again, I'm pushing it up with my fingers so that way, again, it's nice and firm. And it's easier to do the body first than the legs. Now, if you have like really long legs, I highly suggest that you stitch a little bit and then stuff. And then stitch a little bit more and then stuff some more. I'm going to go ahead and push that further. There's his little butt. I'm going to go ahead and start stuffing his little leg. And you can start with smaller pieces. But again, if your piece is like way too long, it's going to be very hard to stuff things down in it, especially tails. Tails are really tricky. So again, sometimes you'll have to just sew about an inch, stuff it, sew another inch. Okay. And then make sure that you put plenty in. What ends up happening also is the leg right here where the joint is, where it connects to the body, it tends to get a little limp right there. So I mean, if you want him to sit, yeah, you can leave it to where it's a little bit looser, but if you want him to stand or to have straight legs, nice straight legs, then you need to go ahead and give him plenty of stuffing. Add some more stuffing, and this is, if you press down on it and it's not firm, if you can feel like you can touch the other side of the sock, then you need to add more stuffing. Yeah, that's one of the big things is I constantly see is it's just way too limp and not full. Okay. So now that I have it stuffed, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew this closed. And since it's right here, it's like that's the best place to do it because it's kind of hidden. So I'm going to grab a needle. Now if you have a needle on a carousel like this, this is really cool. I love these. All you have to do is there's a hole on the side. You twist the carousel top until you find the needle that you want. If it gets stuck, which it sometimes does, just keep on trying to rotate it a little bit. There we go. And so I just poured mine out. And see, all you do is you line it up with the actual area that you want. And there you go. And also sometimes you'll have needles that just don't get in there right. Try to make sure as best as you can that it gets into the little carousel slot. And there we go. So on this one I'm going to go ahead and use brown thread. And because of that, sometimes it's hard to see against my black background, so I'm going to put my paper right here and zoom out. So I'm going to show you again how to thread your needle. Take your thread, take it off the hook. You need to put it between your ring and your middle finger and just pull. And I'm pulling to where it's about a yard, so I'm outstretching my arms. Snip it. Check it. If it's a nice, if it's a nice cut, then it's good to go. If not, if it's frayed, then you need to cut it again. I'm going to turn my needle around so it's easier to pick up. Put my thumb down to where it kind of springs the end of the other needle, the other end of the needle up. Grab it with my index and pull up. I'm going to hold my thread close to my thumb. And then if you're not sure, if you're having a hard time seeing if it went through the eye of the needle, just go ahead, hold it, give it a little tug. Okay, then you'll know. And I'm going to match my ends, so I'm holding one. I have the other one between my index and my middle finger. I'm pulling straight. And I'm going to stop when both my ends are matched. Again, I'm using this way so that my thread is stronger. If you use two, it makes it harder to break, whereas if you just had one strand of thread, it's easier. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Alright. So what I'm doing is I'm taking and I'm going to go ahead and go back over this last area so that way I know it's nice and secure. Put my needle through. I'm going to go and pull it all the way through except for the last 2 inches, because remember, I'm going to tie my string to my sock reacher. Okay. Double knot it. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the excess off. I'm going to leave about 1 centimeter so that way I have extra string. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll end up actually cutting that piece off later. But for now, I'm going to go back over it. And I forgot to make my French knot, so I'm going to go back through. So I'm going to put my needle halfway through. Okay. I'm going to take the thread that is attached to the sock. I'm going to loop it around my needle twice. That should help to see better. Okay, so I'm going to loop it around my needle twice. One more time. I'm straightening out my string so that it does not get tangled, and then I'm going to pull through. Then, just to make it secure, I'm going to go ahead, go through the stitch in a perpendicular manner, and try to make this to where y'all can see it. But then I'm going to go around my thread twice, sorry, my needle twice, push my needle, and pull it through. Okay. Now that I feel like it's secure, I'm going to go ahead and just start sewing the rest of it. Just take a little bit, because it's stuffed so much, you're going to have to squeeze it together. If you have pins, you can pin it closed. When you pin it, you're pinning it perpendicular, so it goes, parallel. So I don't have any pins with me, but all you would do is just take a little bit, push it through, and then push it through like that. And that's how you would pin it, if you can see that. But I just like to hold it together with my fingers. I'm not worried about pricking myself with the pins, and I just find it a little bit faster. And again, all I'm doing is rotating once around now, and then every once in a while, some extra string, and then every once in a while, do your French knot. Let's see, 1, 2, and pull through. Okay, and you can just keep on trucking. Until you're all the way at the other end. So that's really pretty, I mean, it's pretty basic. So you're sewing all of this closed like that. Okay, once you're finished, just to show you how to end it, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to pull through. I'm going to do 2, to make my French knot. Then I'm going to pull through. Then I'm going to go perpendicular to the stitch and parallel to the seam. And there you go. I'm going to do it twice. I like to make sure my stitches are as strong as possible. If you don't tie the ends very well, what's going to end up happening is they're just going to come right out, and all your hard work has ended. So when I go through the stitching perpendicular, I like to take my needle and go through this loop and pull it. So I'm just making a knot. And I've done that. You just need to do it 2 times, but I like to do it 3. Make sure it's nice and secure. Okay, so say I have this done. The next part is to go ahead and start making your neck, and that will be our next session.